Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Al's Air Guns. Today I wanted to do a follow-up to some earlier videos and respond to questions I was asked in the comment. Got a couple that were very similar, and the first one came in from Russell Presley, 6372, and Russell says to me, I got a 1377 pump and wanted to start modifying it. Anything you would recommend first, like the top 5 things I should do? And I responded to that a couple of ways and talked about that, but I'm going to expand upon it now. The other one that Richard Ford 5755 asked, great points to consider. What would the priorities be to increase power for hunting? Richard and I have been having dialogue about what you might do to a 1377. The short answer I gave to both, while there are a lot of great things we can do to tune or adjust the Crosman pistols to do a number of things better, in terms of increasing power and making a 1377 more suitable for hunting, when I think about the 1377 and hunting in its native form, I think of it as a bird gun. Bird, maybe ground squirrels, mice, rats, that kind of thing. I don't think of it as much for like rabbits, squirrels, larger vermin, any of that. So in response to that question, the first thing I would do if I wanted to increase the power of my 1377, like the one I have here, is convert to 22 caliber. When you convert to 22 caliber, particularly if you'll go with a 14-inch barrel, barrels like this are roughly $40 from a supplier like Pyramid Air, or I believe you can get them directly from Crosman too. And it's a 14.5-inch 22 caliber barrel. You do have to upgrade the bolt as well, the 22 caliber bolt. You can reuse the plastic breech, or you can choose to upgrade the breech like I've done. But this upgrade alone is both very simple. We remove a screw here, a screw under there, and loosen this one, and you can lift this up, turn it, and get it out. The other thing I would have to do to add a longer barrel is either drill this front barrel band or replace it with a 2289 barrel band. But you're looking at cost there of, well, like I said, $40, and an exorbitant price for these I think was like $15, $19. You can get them cheaper, I think, if you look around. So cost-wise, that's very straightforward. And in terms of a beginner performing the modification, barrel swaps are extremely easy. You're going to loosen this screw, loosen a screw under here. Like I said, may have to loosen a screw there. But as we pop this off, the complex mechanism is contained here and here. This is very straightforward. It's a barrel and either a plastic breech or a steel breech. And there's a transfer port under here and a little gasket, if you will, that they call a transfer sleeve. And those two pieces can work on either barrel, but that's the only thing to lose, that and the screw are misplaced, so there's not a lot to go wrong with that upgrade. In doing an upgrade like that, you're going to immediately see 1 foot-pound of energy or more. For some comparisons, I have run this 1377 both in 177 caliber and since I made the upgrade on it. Now obviously this one does have a muzzle brake on the end. If you're planning on tuning your guns at all, I would suggest putting a muzzle brake on, because as I've tuned a 10-inch barrel in 177 caliber and tried to get to higher power levels, it gets noisy. It gets obnoxiously noisy quickly. And I can show you some results of that in a different video. But anyway, this one had a muzzle device on it, silencer, moderator, whatever you want to call it, and I left it on there. When it was in 177 caliber, using like an 8.2 grain RWS pellet, this thing at, oh golly, looking at it in the comparison, looking at it, in 177 caliber, 10 pumps was getting at 555 feet per second with the 8.2 RWS flat nose pellet, And that results in about 5.5 foot-pounds, 5.59 foot-pounds of energy. In those same 10 pumps, since we converted it to the 22 caliber 14-inch barrel, just using even an 11.9 grain pellet, which doesn't do as well as some of the others, you're looking immediately at 495 feet of velocity, but 6.37 foot-pounds of energy. So we've bumped up almost a single foot-pound right there. That just continues on. At 15 pumps, 22 caliber, as it is now, we're getting 542 feet per second, and that is giving us 8.18 foot-pounds of energy. By 25 and relevant, 20 pumps is, the 8.1 foot-pounds here, and in 177 caliber, that was giving us 615 feet per second, and 6.89 foot-pounds of energy. So no matter how you slice it, while the velocity numbers are not as high per pump, in modified form you can pump it to give the velocity you need, and you have the knockdown power you need both to penetrate and to have the effect you want on any kind of larger game you might be hunting. Another way to look at that, I had put some of the hunting pellets, the Seneca Hunters. Those are a 28.5 grain pellet that a lot of people have good luck with. If you can fire them, they've got some good knockdown power. Why that makes a good hunter? With the Senecas, when I was shooting them yesterday, 23 pumps in this pistol, which was quite easy. It's an easy pumper because the valve's been enlarged. 23 pumps in this pistol comes out of the muzzle at 425 feet per second, 430, right about in there. And at 430 feet per second, that's giving you 11.7 foot-pounds of energy. And more importantly, an estimated 4.78 inches of penetration in flesh. At the 425 feet per second level, again, 22, 23 pumps, you're getting 4.72 inches of penetration and 11.43 foot-pounds. Why that's important is as these slugs are traveling, you're not putting the muzzle right up to the head of the quarry. So if we've got to go a number of yards out, the projectile's going to decelerate. If you're using a heavy projectile, one like this, you can get that thing traveling as slow as 300 feet per second. At 300 feet per second, it's still producing 5.75 foot-pounds of energy and is estimated to penetrate 3.33 inches in flesh. Basically the kind of performance we get up close with a .177 caliber pellet. So if hunting's on your mind, you want to get there easily, inexpensively, I'd make the recommendation to get a longer barrel in 22 caliber before you put a lot of other money and effort into some of the internal upgrades that you can do, getting a much bigger bang for the buck. While you're doing it, if hunting is your game, I would look strongly at upgrading the breech to the steel breech. Crosman has one. This is the Crosman model. They set you back like 45, 50 bucks and are pretty straightforward to install. I like it. It comes with the 22 caliber bolt. I've used them a lot. There are less expensive ones and ones that are a little bit different. The Crosman does not let you reuse the old iron sights, but usually why I'm going for a metal breech is I plan on adding optics, which again, for hunting, I think the idea of a red dot or a scope is an excellent idea on a hunting tool. So that's my thought in response to the questions that was asked there. Wanted to put something out. I didn't keep it very short, but there you go. First upgrade I'd make to turn it into a more powerful hunter is 22 caliber and a longer barrel. Thanks a lot. See you guys on the next one.